Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I will be attempting recover. So when I first saw this question, I was actually pretty shocked by it. I thought we had to use malloc and then it's very confusing and stuff. But however, I successfully managed to complete it around a week ago. But throughout the week I was pretty busy, so I couldn't make a video. So let's get started. So if you guys have read the problem set and also watched the walkthrough, it should be pretty simple for you to understand what is going on, but the coding is what might be difficult and hard to do. In the end of the walkthrough that Brian gave, he laid out a pseudocode uh, to help us do our question, and I feel the pseudocode is really very helpful for us to solve the question. He basically laid out for us like how we are supposed to do it. So I'm just gonna copy and paste the pseudocode on one of my codes and one of my folders. Alright, so this is the pseudocode, and I also added in some extra stuff. So yeah, so first of all, we open the memory card, then we repeat until the end of the card this stuff. First we read the file, and then if it's the start of a new JPEG, which is right here, yeah, so this is how we check if it's the start of a new JPEG. Then we create a file and write. So for creating a file, we have to do this. So we have to change the number, so 0000001.002.jpg, etc. And yeah, we can do this to make changes to the string, and this is how we create the file. Then it's a file pointer, then we write fopen and stuff, and then writing the file, which is by using fwrite, and reading the file fread, and that's about it. I mean, he basically told us everything we have to do, which is awesome. Okay, so first step, open the memory card so that we can make use of it. So we can basically, let's just copy what he wrote, file star f equals to file open. File name is gonna be argv2, like here. Yeah, so fopen argv1, and read, because we are reading this file. So we're done with the first step, and then read until the end. Repeat until the end of card. Well, we could do a while through, so this loop will just continuously run, and then we have to read 512 bytes into a buffer. So we need a buffer which can store 512 bytes, and it's bytes, not integer, or not double or whatever. So we could create a new type, which is called bytes. So let's create it. Type def uint 8, which is basically 8 bits. Then the new type, we can call it byte. Okay, now let's create a buffer. So byte buffer 512. So we're done creating the buffer. Now we read the 512 bytes into a buffer. And how we can do it is by using this function, fread. So it's going to be fread data, which is the pointer, buffer, and then size, which is 512, and then number, sorry, not 512, size is size of byte, and then number, which is 512 bytes, and then the pointer is F because it's the file you want to read from. Okay, so actually, right, we might have to create another integer to store how many bytes have been read, because for fread, the output from fread is the number of items read. So if it reads 1 byte, it will return 1, and if it reads 0 bytes, it will return 0, etc. So this is one of the ways we can figure out if we have reached the end of the file or the end of the JPEG or something like that. So it's really helpful. If you don't do this step, you will be having a lot of difficulties. So we can just have another integer, int bytes read. So it's gonna be bytes read equals to fread that. Okay, now we're done with this pseudocode. If start of a new JPEG. Alright, so I copied another pseudocode to the bottom so that we can change the structure for this one. However, for this, we will be, adding this pseudocode into there. Okay, so first we read 512 bytes into the buffer, then we check if it's the start of a new JPEG, which is pretty simple. We could, Brian already told us how to do that. So it's gonna be like this. So we check if buffer 0 is this, buffer 1 is this, buffer 2 is this, etc. So let's do that. If okay, so yeah, I've done that. So we check if buffer 0 is equals to this, and so all of those conditions has to pass for it to be a JPEG. So now if it is a JPEG, then we check if it's the first JPEG. So we enter this if condition, and then we have another if condition to check if it's the first JPEG. So how I did it was to have another variable called counter. This is to help us identify the number of pictures that has already been found. So the counter will be initialized to 0 first, and then it'll be changed to 1, 2, 3, and 4 when we find more JPEGs. So if counter is equals to 0, then we know it's the first JPEG. So we can just copy this. So if it's the first JPEG, then we create a file and write it. So how might we want to create a file? What we could do is we have to do these steps to okay. So it's gonna be sprintf file name, comma. Okay, so yeah, we have to initialize file name now. File name is gonna be a character. We can't quite use string, even though it's a string. I'm not too sure why we can't use string. I mean, yeah, but we can't. I have tried it out, and yeah, if anyone of you knows why we can't use a string for this situation, you can let me know. But we have to use a character array. So as you can see, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Eight characters. The last one is gonna be a null character, so it's gonna be car file name. Yeah. Okay, and then this is gonna be count. Okay, so we could create a file here. File image equals to f open file name w. But this would not work. Let me tell you why. Because this variable is gonna be local to this if condition. If you want to use it outside of this if condition, it wouldn't work. So we actually have to declare it much earlier. We could do it with the rest, but for this we must declare it to be null. So it's somewhat like a function prototype. Yeah, so that we can use it in the future. So and then later on we fopen file name w. This is supposed to be earlier. Okay, so we created a file and we did not write to it yet. So let's write to it. For writing to it, we can just fwrite data. Okay, so for the data, we can just take the buffer because that's where we copied it. Buffer, and then size is gonna be, and then the pointer is gonna be this image. Okay, we are done here. If it's the first JPEG, we create a file and then we close it. If it's not the first JPEG, then we close the file and open a new file to write to. Okay, F closed and file name. And then for counter, we also have to increment the counter. F close file name. Then we have to open a new file, which is another name. This time the count will be 1 from 0, and the file name will be changing, and then we open a new file, and then it's the same process. Okay, so it seems like we are done with the first part. Now for this else, so if it's not a new JPEG, then we continue to write to it, which is gonna be like this: fwrite, buffer, and stuff. And then if it's the end of the file, we close the file. So it's gonna be another if condition here. So how do we know if it's the end of the file? We basically just check this bytes read. If the bytes read is equals to 0, we know we have reached the end of the file, so we just close it. F close. So F close image, F close. So it's gonna be file next. Actually, I think what they meant here was just to close the image file. I think, I'm not too sure. Let's just try it out, And then at the end, we close all other files. Sorry. And then we exit this loop if we have reached the end, I guess. So break, and we'll be breaking this while, and then we just do the same thing, I guess. And we are done. So let's try to make this. There will be many errors for sure. Let's debug it. Okay, line 6. Unknown type uint8. Okay, so for this uint8, it's using another header and another library, same as what we used for volume, which is this std int header. Okay, too many errors are listed. Make break cover, use of undeclared identifier true. Well, what? I'll just put one then if they say something like that. Yeah, use of undeclared identifier accounts. Yes, that's my mistake. Okay, so this is supposed to be img. My bad. And we are done. Wow. Okay. Um, let's run it, I guess. Wait, no, before we run it, right, there are some additional things we have to attend to. The program and a file, blah blah blah. Okay, so if it's not exactly one command line argument, we have to tell them the correct usage and return one, which is gonna be here. So if argc is not equals to 1, I mean not equals to 2, then we tell them okay, and then we return 1. If the forensic image cannot be opened for reading, your program should inform user as such. I'm pretty sure they meant as such. Okay, never mind. And main should return 1. Okay, so if it cannot open means it's null. The pointer is a null terminator. So we can just do if f equals to null, then let me just do this, return 1. And I think we are done. Let's try it, make recover. Okay, so some errors. Okay, so yeah, I forgot to put these things. Okay, so oh my gosh, I hope we don't get segmentation error. Let's try dot slash recover card. Yep, segmentation error, card dump. Let's see what's going on. Let's see if we even. Oh, okay, so I might have found the problem. It's because you see how it's supposed to be else if already found a JPEG, then keep writing to it. But we didn't do this if already found JPEG. So let's do that. If count is not equals to 0, because if we don't have this, then we won't even be doing this, because for bytes read, right, we didn't initialize bytes read to be anything. Actually, right, bytes read has already been initialized to copy this. So we will be writing the buffer into this image. However, this image isn't even opening any file. So I think that's the problem, because yeah, the image is null and then we are writing to null. So that's the problem. Some logical errors. Now let's try it. Okay, so now it seems to work and we have all the JPEGs. So that's awesome. Yeah, so these are some of the pictures, and yeah, awesome. And I also commented out this portion because I was scared there might be something wrong with this part, but it seems like it wasn't. Let me try to make recover again. Okay, it seems to be working. Now time to check. And I'll also look into style50. It's been a while since I used this. Maybe I might have to improve my styling and stuff. So yeah, that was the small little issue we had. So at least now we know that we can't quite write to a null pointer. Yeah, because it was null. Wow, okay. So it seems to handle everything correctly. Style50. Wow, they have read stuff. Oh, okay. So I guess we can't quite do that. I'll just remove my pseudocodes. I mean, I have another folder which I did this question on, where I still have the pseudocode. So, and then okay, let me try make recover sol50. I mean, it doesn't seem like much error and much changes to me. So yeah, I haven't actually submitted it, so I'll just submit it as well. And thank you for watching. If you guys have any questions, comment down below and I'll try my best to answer them. And if you have any tips for me, you could just comment down below as well. And if you like the video, please subscribe and like it. And bye bye. Have a nice day.